Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again for our virtual event. Our topic today is in commemoration of September 16, 2001, as Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and Dr. Hong Dao's Day, the Tai Ji Men case religious and cultural persecution. At the time, New York was in chaos, and Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, which with is World War II historic significance, was predicted to be the next possible target. Everyone wanted to escape the United States. Tai Chi Men masters and disciples abide by the spirit of the commitment of martial arts practitioners, and they went to Hawaii to hold the Ancient Culture Night, cultural feast, and prayer ceremony at the Honolulu City Theater. The mayor of Honolulu City, Holishi, thanked Dr. Hong as an outstanding leader, especially awarded Dr. Hong the Honolulu Honorary Citizens, and announced September 16, 2001 as Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and Dr. Hong Dao's Day. Through today's platform, we also hope to promote understanding and tolerance so that we can jointly embrace a culture of peace with love and conscience. Therefore, we look forward to some great dialogues today, starting with this video of healing from the devastation and losses of 911. Let's welcome this video.
New York is the most populous city in America. Also one of the biggest cities in the world. It has significant amount of influence over the world economy, commerce, finance, media, politics, education and entertainment. New York is also the headquarters of the United Nations, and is therefore considered the center of world diplomacy. New York is also named as the cultural capital of America, where people can pursue the latest trend in fashion. You can also get to see the Broadway shows and indulge yourself in the collection of arts in the Metropolitan Museum. On September 11, 2001, the Tai Ji Men Cultural Goodwill Group, while attending the 54th Union NGO/DPI annual conference, witnessed the catastrophic 9/11 terrorist attack. The group was on the 34th floor of UN Plaza Hotel and their room were decorated with ceiling-to-floor glass. When the first Twin Tower caught fires, the sirens of fire trucks were roaring. When the second Twin Tower was attacked, the glass and cements were falling after the huge band of fire. They witnessed the progressive collapse of the two buildings through the window. The surrounding buildings were also damaged or destroyed. It has been 21 years since 9/11 attack. The attack took 2,977 lives and left deep marks in the hearts of Americans. The horrible 102 minutes has changed the world order. The loss of lives caused unforgettable sorrow and grief. On the next day when people tried to run away from New York, a prayer and bell-ringing ceremony was held in Manhattan MNN television. It was prayed that the deceased may rest in peace and the living be comforted with the sound of the bell, and that the world could recover soon from the catastrophe.
The earth is our common home. Yesterday's incident was a major tragedy in history. We are all in mourning. May the souls of the departed rest in peace, and may the living be consoled. May everyone be blessed with peace, and may the disaster be overcome as soon as possible. We hope that by promoting world peace, we can all work together to spread the energy of love. We pray that global citizens will begin a new life with sincere hearts, recover from sorrow, and face everything bravely. Let us fill the hearts of world citizens with love and peace. September 12, 2001.
Peace, love, unity, soul, ishq, ittihad.
During the 60s, the United States tried to make peace with war in Vietnam. Then Pope Paul VI preached a sermon at the UN General Assembly, and it had 3 points. My commitment to peace is those 3 points. 1, no more war. 2, war no more. 3, war never again. And to that I say, amen.
I, Sajni Afidani, commit myself to the working of world peace, to be instrument of the same in my personal and professional life. I pray for the peace daily and act so that I can make the difference. Equity, justice, and peace-related attitude will help in cutting out the cycle of violence.
The ceremonial ringing of the bell by distinguished guests, and the ceremonies between the ringing of the bell were beautiful. They were performed by artists that I have to say I haven't seen anything of that caliber before, and it touched me in a very special way. I believe your message of peace and love is one in which can transcend any other message in this world and can reach the hearts of everybody, regardless of culture, regardless of race, regardless of gender.
Very pleased to be a part of this organization as an ambassador of peace. The honor that you have given me is a great honor, and I will promote the organization that is going around talking about peace, especially today. September 11th is a very important day in all our lives. For all the people in the world, wherever you go, please remember that peace is the most important thing in our lives.
I agree with Dr. Hong. It must begin in the heart. If it is not in the heart, it will not last. If there is real peace and love in your heart, and that can be communicated, and other people adopt the same method, that is when real peace and love will prevail.
Martial arts practitioner value high the promise he makes. Dr. Hong led a group of 30-plus people flew from New York to Hawaii in several flights after air traffic was reopened. The original parade of 430 people was cancelled and replaced by a prayer of 36 people in theater. Close to 1,000 audiences were in tears as they were deeply touched by the overwhelming positive energies, sincere passions, and peaceful wishes in the solemn prayer ceremony.
The sound of the bell of world peace and love brings peaceful and comforting wishes. All living creatures are brothers and sisters. We mourn the loss of lives with deepest sadness. It is imperative and urgent for the world to get united. We have to light up hope of life with brightness, and to alleviate the sorrow of the world with sincere care. President of Federation of World Peace and Love, Zhang Manren of Tai Ji Men, proclaim at September 16, 2001.
This proclamation is presented by the Mayor of the City and County of Honolulu to Dr. Hong because he's done such outstanding work as a leader who imparts the philosophy of yin and yang and advocates in the concept of physical, spiritual, and mental health. This cultural goodwill group, organized by Dr. Hong, is responsible for developing technology, exchange of techniques, and result in strengthening the relationships among countries and cultures. So Mayor Harris welcomes Dr. Hong, and he declares September 16th, today, as Dr. Hong Day, and we congratulate you.
Today, 21 years after 9/11, the living environment has dramatically changed with more frequent natural disasters, worldwide pandemics, virus evolving and mutating, and geopolitical conflicts. Hearts of people have lost directions. Economic, finance and society are in disorder. The survival of all creatures are under constant threats. The world needs love and peace. And now is the moment to change the status of the world. Gather good thoughts and true love. Do good deeds and pray with sincere heart. Led by conscience, we spread love across the world.
I feel very honored to be part of this commemoration. As the video shows, the Tai Ji Men master and disciples did not run away in fear following the 9/11 tragedy 21 years ago. Instead, they kept their word and traveled to Hawaii for cultural exchanges centered around peace and love, made prayers for love, peace, and stability for a panic-stricken America, as well as the prayers for the deceased to rest in peace. Therefore, this anniversary is very precious, not only to commemorate a global relationship, but also to reflect the world's desire for peace. Next, let's take a look at the video which will introduce the 20th anniversary of Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and Dr. Hong Daozi Day in Honolulu.
As the world marks the 20th anniversary of 9/11, Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and the Action Alliance to Redress 1219 reflect on their activism both now and then.
Tai Ji Men is a spiritual organization that practices Qigong and martial arts. It aims to promote a culture of conscience and improve people's physical, mental, and spiritual health.
During this week 20 years ago, Tai Ji Men and their leader, Dr. Hong Daozi, were on a multi-city tour to promote peace and goodwill among nations through cultural performances and ringing the bell of world peace and love.
Dr. Hong believes it is very important to invite heads of state and visionary leaders to ring the bell of world peace and love and make wishes for peace as their actions impact many people.
Back then, Tai Ji Men was about 5 years into its pursuit of justice from the Taiwan government. Its leader and members have continued their journeys of love and peace despite the persecution they have faced through legal and taxation measures, as well as the continual quest of administrative relief. Dr. Hong and over 300 Tai Ji Men members were scheduled to be in Hawaii in September 2001, but they were initially prevented from traveling here by 9/11.
Our revisit here today is very important because 20 years ago, after the 9/11 attacks, no flights were available. However, Dr. Hong and his wife were determined to fly to Honolulu, even though there were talks about that Honolulu might be the next target for the terrorist attack.
They believe, as martial artists, that they should keep their promises and not give up easily on endeavors that can benefit the world. Dr. Hong and Tai Ji Men finally made it to Hawaii when flights resumed after 9/11. 20 years later, members of Tai Ji Men and the Action Alliance to Redress 1219 returned to Hawaii to mark the 20th anniversary of both 9/11 and their visit here in 2001.
So we are here to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this meaningful day. Especially, I recall my father and my mother, along with other 400 brothers and sisters, were standing by for a couple days and waiting for the air flights to be here. But unfortunately, due to the 9/11 attack, their flight was canceled. So here today, I have this honor to not only to commend my shifu's courage and determination to overcoming the difficulties and making this peace trip 20 years ago, but also fulfill my parents' wishes.
20 years ago, what I was witness here. At that time, I saw a lot of people, they were scared and insecure because at that time, there are a lot of soldiers with the big machine guns on the street and the tank. So we overcome the many difficulties and finally we got here.
Tai Ji Men's visit in 2001 culminated with a presentation from the mayor's office in Honolulu, which declared September 16, 2001 as Dr. Hong Daozi and Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy Day.
So Mayor Harris welcomes Dr. Hong, and he declares September 16th today as Dr. Hong Day, and we congratulate you.
The return to Hawaii was bittersweet for Tai Ji Men members. While it was meaningful to mark the 20th anniversary of these two events, Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and now the Action Alliance to Redress 1219 are still pursuing justice from the Taiwan government and also went to protest at TICO, the Taiwan Economic and Cultural Office, to send a message that their pursuit of justice, which started even before 9/11, is still continuing today.
Fight for justice!
Taiwanese government, they lied to us. They promised they'll end the Tai Ji Men case in 2 months during the public hearing. They also promised to end our tax bills, but that did not happen. Both did not happen.
Fight for Tai Ji Men! Fight for Tai Ji Men!
Despite their ongoing challenges, Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and the Action Alliance to Redress 1219 remain steadfast in spreading hope, peace, and positivity in Hawaii and throughout the world. They believe that this year's 9/11 anniversary serves not only to remind the world of the pain and horror brought by war, but also to remind all those in power to respect human rights and avoid violating people's rights with public authority, particularly the deprivation of people's property and freedom of belief through taxation or criminal law. They emphasize that human rights protection is the only way for humanity to achieve a world of love and peace.
I really enjoyed the powerful and helpful presentation from the Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy. Tai Ji Men has been working on promoting culture as well as the physical and emotional well-being of all people. However, after the Tai Ji Men case was falsely aroused, they were treated unfairly by the state and were highly concerned by international human rights and religious groups. With wonderful technology at hand, we can quickly share our ideas so more people can know what has happened. In today's virtual event, we have invited 5 speakers to share their thoughts with us. They will share their views from different perspectives. First, I would like to welcome In Jin, a managing director. Please take over.
Hi everyone, my name is Ying. I come from the Netherlands and I'm a Tai Ji Men dizi. I'm also managing director of a biotechnology company in the Netherlands. Today, we are here to commemorate September 16, 2001 as Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and Dr. Hong Daozi Day, as declared by Mayor Jeremy Harris of the City and County of Honolulu in recognition of Dr. Hong and Tai Ji Men's contributions to advancing cultural exchanges and harmony among nations. In fact, this isn't the only day designated in honor of Tai Ji Men and Dr. Hong. The District of Columbia's Mayor, Anthony Williams, declared March 22, 2000 as Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy Day in Washington, D.C., and praised Tai Ji Men as international ambassadors of goodwill and peace. Furthermore, Dr. Hong is the president of the Federation of War, Peace, and Love, and Mayor Tom Bates of the city of Berkeley declared August 5, 2005 as the Federation of War, Peace, and Love Day in Berkeley, in recognition of Dr. Hong's commitment to leading full power in promoting peace and love for all humanity. So why has Tai Ji Men an ancient empire of martial arts and Qigong dedicated to the promotion of cultural preservation and world peace been persecuted for over 25 years? Today, I would like to share my experiences and perspectives on why and how the Taiwanese government demonized Tai Ji Men, as well as some solutions that could grant people, particularly Taiwanese people, true religious and belief freedom. I became a Tai Ji Men dizi when I was 9 years old. Following shifu, I've been learning Kung Fu to improve my physical and mental health and my temperament. A few months ago, my company gave me the Excellent Leadership Award. And just yesterday, I read a LinkedIn post by one of my colleagues stating that our team is under my great leadership. But I was not born this way. I've been insecure about myself since I was a child. I lacked confidence and was easily envious of others. To make things even worse, I had a bad temper and was easily irritated and impatient. For many years, Dr. Hong has taught me how to face my true colors through daily reflection and dedication to remaining humble and grateful. Every day, I learn to confront myself, admitting my flaws while working on improvement and solutions. I recognize that I'm not perfect, and that is perfectly fine. As long as I continue to improve and help others and myself, that is the purpose of my life. When leading teams, I work on feedback and openly admit and apologize for errors. The more honest I am with myself, the more confident I am as a person. I also share the wisdom I gained from my shifu with my colleagues, encourage them to look beyond their work and realize that no matter what you do or where you are in life, it's all about learning more about yourself and becoming a better person. I once lived in Russia and Israel, where I was exposed to war and harsh living conditions. In those difficult times, Tai Ji Men served as my heart's compass, guiding me to maintain my courage and hope in life. In this sense, Tai Ji Men is a fundamental belief in my life. When I was 12 years old, the Taiwanese government carried out a political purge in the name of cracking down on sects that committed crimes. At that time, there were a few critical criminal cases that couldn't be solved, and the government needed to quickly shift the people's attention. Tai Ji Men therefore became a target. It's worth noting that the prosecutor, Ho Kuan-ren, violated the principle of secret investigation and manipulated the media and public opinion, creating an image of Tai Ji Men as a mysterious evil sect. He even prosecuted Tai Ji Men for raising goblins, a claim that obviously was not scientifically grounded at all. Back then, the internet was not as developed as it is today, so TV and print media were the major information sources for most people. For this reason, when Tai Ji Men was demonized by the government and media, hundreds of thousands of Tai Ji Men deeds were also vilified and discriminated against by the public. I can still remember at that time when I was dressed in my Tai Ji Men uniform and walking through the street, there were always people looking at me and commenting negatively. My parents had a friend who worked in the Ministry of Justice Investigation Bureau, and he told my parents that they were on the investigation list. At the age of 12, for the first time in my life, I learned about state violence after seeing all the fabricating news and not being able to know whether shifu, shimu, and the arrested brothers and sisters were safe and sound. I just couldn't believe such a thing could happen in a democratic society like Taiwan. In 2007, the Taiwanese Criminal Court of the third instance found all the defendants in the Tai Ji Men case not guilty of fraud and tax evasion. In 2009, the defendants all received national compensation for unlawful imprisonment. We thought the Tai Ji Men case had finally been put to rest, but the National Taxation Bureau completely ignored the court's ruling and keep issuing illegal tax bills before finally transferring the case for compulsory enforcement. This led to the auction of Tai Ji Men's property. The question we should ask is, why did the Taiwanese National Taxation Bureau simply ignore the law and illegally confiscate people's property? The simple reason can be found in the tax bonus system that has existed and throughout Taiwan's history. This unfounded and human tax bonus system has become a means for the National Taxation Bureau to accelerate the persecution of Tai Ji Men, shifu, and dizi's freedom of belief. Even though the Taiwanese government has subjected Tai Ji Men to these treatments, Tai Ji Men, shifu, and dizi have never given up on fighting for justice or agreed to settle with the National Taxation Bureau. On the contrary, Tai Ji Men have invested in a lot of energy and resources into rebuilding the truth and supporting victims of Taiwan's unjust tax system. We have been demanding the reform of the tax laws, not just for the Tai Ji Men case, but to establish taxpayers' human rights in Taiwan. Furthermore, Tai Ji Men, shifu, and dizi have been volunteering using their own time and resources to visit 101 countries and on 5 continents to conduct cultural exchanges and promote love, peace, and conscience. In 2017, together with shifu and other dizi, I visited the Kingdom of Bahrain and met with leaders from different religions to discuss religious diversity and existence. We met with more than 10 leaders representing Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, the Orthodox Church, and other religions. I was very impressed by Shifu's opening speech, in which he said, "When looking up, we learn from the sky how vast and selfless it is, and that it accommodates all the beings. When we look down, we learn from the earth how broad and tolerant it is, and that it accepts all the beings. Truly recognizing and accepting that others have a different way to love is to make peace with ourselves, and that is also the start of making peace with others. In facing all the global challenges and conflicts, Shifu pointed out that the first and foremost approach to world peace is to respect and tolerate the differences of others. The Bahraini religious leaders also consulted with Shifu about how to achieve more on building love and peace in Bahrain society. He suggested that they accelerate the promotion of conscience education, because education of conscience is the key to change the world. If everyone's conscience is awakened and they live according to their own conscience, there will be much more positive energy and peace in the world. Tai Ji Men has been striving to promote religious diversity, conscience education, and love and peace, yet the Taiwanese government keeps using taxation as a means to oppress the group's freedom of religion and belief and human rights. The contrast is really pathetic. The fact that Tai Ji Men, shifu, and dizi have been working to preserve Chinese culture and promoting world peace has gained a lot of international recognitions. And that is why there are at least 3 days in the United States proclaimed in recognition of Tai Ji Men and Dr. Hong's dedication and achievements. As previously stated, I've been learning to live authentically, to be honest, and to constantly reflect on myself under Shifu's guidance. If I make a mistake, I must admit it, apologize, and correct it, especially if I'm in a position of leadership in a company. Seeing how prosecutor Ho Kuan-yuan and the National Taxation Bureau fabricated the Tai Ji Men case, telling the public lie after lie and never admitting or correcting their mistakes, makes me wonder how much damage they did to Taiwan's democracy. The daily human rights violations caused by politics and taxation render Taiwan's democracy null and void. And all of this will be judged by international society and harm Taiwan's image sooner or later. Finally, because Tai Ji Men has experienced all of this injustice and knows that it is the result of some governmental officials' greed for power and money, we understand the importance and urgency of awakening people's conscience. This is why Tai Ji Men, shifu, and dizi actively promote conscience culture in order to create a visible future for peace. Today is Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and Dr. Hong Daozi Day, and we are gathering here to commemorate this occasion and once again show our commitment to and faith in conscience, justice, and world peace. Thank you.
Thanks for your sharing. Indeed, the commitment and faith in conscience, justice, and world peace can actually start with ourselves. We can imagine different behavioral choices and improve our own behavior. If there's some encouragement, things may be different. Just like when we smile or spread positive energy to others and they smile in response. It would be a good way to spread real happiness. Next, Nunu. She is a housewife that's here about her thoughts.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nunu. I'm a Burmese Chinese American and a Tai Ji Men dizi in Los Angeles Academy. When I was 28 years old, I immigrated to Taiwan with my mother and started a new life there. My mind and body were so tense living in an environment with a different language. So I often quarreled with my supervisors and colleagues at work. It was so unpleasant that I got sick physically and mentally. At the age of 35, my husband recommended me to practice Qigong and cultivate my heart at Tai Ji Men. My physical and mental health improved, and I gained positive energy. My heart became calm and gradually stopped comparing and complaining. Shifu teaches me to share my happy energy with people around me and use my smile to influence people's happiness. My mother and sisters saw the changes in me and joined Tai Ji Men as well. My mother could not understand Chinese and spoke only Burmese, but she still practiced Qigong with us. When she was 65 years old, she broke 21 ribs in a car accident. She was bleeding too much and the blood inside the lungs caused life-threatening pneumothorax. My mom fell into a coma, and the doctor told us to prepare for her funeral. It was very amazing that after the operation, my mother recovered super fast because of the simple and effective Tai Ji Men Kung Fu. So my mother lived a healthy life for another 15 years. My sister also had a surprising experience. She got married at 45 and gave birth to a healthy baby the next year. I'm very grateful to my shifu for keeping our family healthy, safe, and happy. When some of my friends see my happiness and youthfulness, they also want to be happy like me. However, the Tai Ji Men fabricated case occurred on December 19, 1996, when a prosecutor's false accusation caused many media in Taiwan to publish false news reports. Some of my friends did not even dare to come to Tai Ji Men to cultivate themselves, and some of them were not well conditioned physically and mentally. A good friend of mine wants to be as happy as I am, but the news of the fake Tai Ji Men case made her afraid of coming to Tai Ji Men. Unfortunately, she chose to take her own life at a very young age. I'm so sad and sorry for this. Tai Ji Men did not own taxes. Tax bills that should not have existed in the beginning. It has illegally hunted down people for more than 25 years and even illegally auctioned the predetermined places for self-cultivation. The National Taxation Bureau and the Administrative Executive Office seriously violate the law. Taiwan tax authorities are greedy for bonus, and they will not hesitate to fabricate fake tax bills by all illegal means. They even ignored the fact that Tai Ji Men is innocent, ruled by the Supreme Court in that instance. We had no tax evasion and no violation of the tax collection law. And all the innocent defendants received compensation from the states. Tai Ji Men has won 18 times in the tax relief. Illegal tax bills should have been ended. Why did the NTB ignore the judicial decision? While we fight to end Tai Ji Men's fabricated case, my shifu has continued to devote his life to promoting love and peace and bringing traditional Tai Chi culture abroad through more than 3,000 cultural exchanges and Qigong martial arts performances. Such performances are not only functional to the production of spectacular martial arts presentations, but serves as a spiritual purpose. By training for performing at events where love and peace are promoted, the dizi cultivate themselves in turn audience by enjoying the performances and the good energy radiated. Gradually discover and understand Tai Ji Men culture. In traditional Chinese culture, a bell is rung to signal the beginning and the end of working day. The bell sound has also a spiritual significance in many Eastern and Western religions. Dr. Hong designed and supervised the construction of the Bell of World Peace and Love, which was first rung in Singapore in the year 2000. Today, 2 bells exist and toll the world, where Tai Ji Men invites world political, cultural, and religious leaders to ring them. Through several Qigong and Kung Fu techniques, some of them esoteric, the dizi are thought to mobilize the positive energies of the universe, both nurturing them and applying them to their own health and self-cultivation. They believe that appropriate physical exercise always also have effects on the mental and spiritual dimensions. I deeply feel that Shifu's compassion is so simple in his love for the world and for his disease. Today's forum allows us to reflect on the trip that my Shifu, Simu, and Tai Ji Men disease took 21 years ago. Even after the 911 incident, Dr. Hong and Ms. Hong and the Tai Ji Men members as martial artists were adamant that they would fly to Hawaii as promised to attend the Aloha parade, despite all odds. Due to numerous flight cancellations, the group waited at the airport every day until they were eventually able to go to Hawaii on the 15th and 16th on separate flights. Despite the cancellation of the parade, the delegation still held a night ancient culture, a cultural feast and an ancient bell ringing ceremony to pray for Hawaii, the US, and the world in Hawaii Theater Center on September 16. The mayor of Honolulu, Mr. Jeremy Harris, presented the award of merit from the city and county of Honolulu to Dr. Hong and proclaimed September 16, 2001 as Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and Dr. Hong Daozi Day. Last year, I visited recently to Hawaii to commemorate the 20th anniversary of that memorable trip with Tai Ji Men brothers and sisters together. 20 years later, we returned to Hawaii, and now the world is facing the impact of the pandemic, natural disasters, and war. With the belief that conscience is the wellspring of love, we promoted the International Day of Conscience in Honolulu and emphasized that conscience leads to good governance, and with conscience-driven politics, people will be blessed. We sang peaceful songs in various tourist attractions, hoping that global citizens will work together to overcome the pandemic with conscience. When we sing, we think of true love and peace for everyone, and we hope that everyone can return to the origin, which is a peaceful world. We are bringing the energy of love and peace to every corner of Honolulu again by singing songs like Love and Peace Song, Love of the World, and Love. Our shifu has given his deeds opportunities to do good deeds, as well as guided people around the world to do the right things and to do good deeds. Tai Ji Men is a manpai of Qigong and martial arts where dizi cultivate their mind and soul. It is a place that can save lives. For physical, it is a place that can save lives. Tai Ji Men is such a good organization for physical and mental cultivation. However, it has been suffering from the Tai Ji Men fake case. The Taiwan government has severely violated the human rights of Tai Ji Men for more than quarter of century. It is not only persecution of religious belief, but also persecution of human rights. I'm totally heartbreaking. I love Taiwan so much, and I really hope that the people in Taiwan and around the world will live in peace, health, and happiness. Thank you.
I really appreciate your sharing. It's really ironic that the Taiwanese government fabricated evidence to illegally impose tax bills and even forcibly auction off Tai Ji Men's property. Just as Nunu said, it's a disrespect of basic human rights and the persecution of the freedom of religion and belief. Next, I would like to invite Ya Wen, an AVP compliance, to share her story.
Hello, hello everyone. This is Ya Wen. I'm living and working in London as a compliance specialist in bank. I'm also a Tai Ji Men Dizi. Today we are here to honor Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and Dr. Hong Dao's Day. Here, I would like to share some history. As you may see from the video, Tai Ji Men was invited to attend the 54th UN DPI Annual Annual Conference. Because we are such a big group and we have arrangement in New York and in Hawaii, we divide into several teams. Some brother and sister went to New York with shifu, and some of us would fly to Hawaii later and join them together. Everyone was excited and well prepared. We all very cherish the opportunity to go with shifu to spread the message of love and peace. The original plan was that the first group, the New York group, would only stay in New York for 2 days before flying to Hawaii. Hence, the brother and sister in the first group only brought once a small pack and a little money. While the second group, I was one of it, stand by and waiting for any chance to fly to Hawaii for several days. When 9/11 happened, The group was forced to stay longer in New York when they are tried everything to book a flight. This is a real test of our wrongful. Shifu has told us a lot. When we confronted with unexpected and uncontrollable, how we use what we learned to deal with the situation and to achieve the best outcome, the best possible outcome. Should we stay frightened in hotel and waiting for update anxiously, or we can do something to help the others? Of course, the latter. Therefore, we had the bell ringing ceremony and the prayer in New York. The 4-hour program was broadcasted through Manhattan and television. The comfort and the healing song of the bell was delivered to every corner in the state. When the attack happened, what it destroyed was not only the material of a building, but also the safety and the trust in humanity. People feel lost. Dr. Hong knows the best cure is love and peace. In the chaos, Tai Ji Men, Shifu, and the dizi spread the most needed message to comfort people's heart. Only when our heart were healed, we would gain the courage to face the situation. This is also the reason why Dr. Hong did this flight to Hawaii a few days later. It is not only for the promise. Dr. Hong knows that the most important thing at that moment is to bring peace to everyone. This is Tai Ji Men's mission, to bring peace and the law to every corner in the world. The people and the mayor of Honolulu was deeply touched by Dr. Hong's endeavor, and the mayor declared that 16 September 2001 as Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy and Dr. Hong Dao's Day. Despite the well-known reputation worldwide, Tai Ji Men has been unfairly discriminated in Taiwan. Since the politically motivated crackdown in 1996, Tai Ji Men has become a victim of unfair prosecution and illegal taxation. Prosecutor Ho Huanzhen led a big team of armed force to raid Tai Ji Men academies when there was no evidence of criminal activity. This is rather disproportionate, and obviously, Ho has the intention of bullying and intimidation. Moreover, Ho also brought several cameramen to have a live broadcast of the raid. It is apparent that, from the very beginning, Ho intended to manipulate the public opinion and influence the litigation. On the day the case broke out, the dizi who happened to be at the academy were taken to a field office of the Investigation Bureau for interrogation. Some were treated inhumanly with prolonged interrogation that lasts over than 24 hours. During the investigation, Prosecutor Ho even ordered the investigator to go to elementary school with the intention of taking away some students who were Tai Ji Men Dizi's children as an leverage to intimidate their parents. After several months' investigation, Prosecutor Ho was still unable to find any evidence of crime or fraud. He then summoned a tax officer from National Taxation Bureau to flame Tai Ji Men of tax evasion. This ridiculous case was concluded in 2007 by the Supreme Court, who acquitted Tai Ji Men and ruled that Tai Ji Men committed no fraud, no tax evasion, and no violation of taxation code. However, the story did not end there. The tax authority not only refused to withdraw the tax bill in accordance with the ruling of the Supreme Court, but keep issuing illegal tax bill and even brought the case into enforcement agents. As a result, the sacred land intended to be a Tai Ji Men cultivating center was illegally auctioned off and then confiscated into state ownership in 2020. Tai Ji Men case was portrayed as a tax dispute, but in fact, it's a case of deploying tax and litigation to oppress spiritual minority. Because why there's no other martial art or religious group were taxed in Taiwan? Why Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy has been set up for 56 years, while only 6 years have tax issue? Why among the 6 years, the tax bill of 5 years was reduced to 0, and only 1 year, the year of 1992, sustained? From legal and the taxation perspective, Tai Ji Men was unfairly discriminated. On the other hand, Tai Ji Men case also drew the attention of international human rights scholars and activists. Tai Ji Men case has been presented to the United Nations Human Rights Council several times. In 2010, the Association of World Citizens submitted a 1503 procedure to the Human Rights Council. Since then, another COSCO-accredited NGO, Coordination of Association and Individual for Freedom of Conscience, filed 5 writing statements in 2021-2022 to the Human Rights Council to explain Tai Ji Men case and highlight the seizure of real estate as a weapon to discriminate religious and spiritual minority, as well as the key factor of some rogue bureaucrats. On July 13, 2022, a number of leading international scholars of religion and human rights activists signed an open letter to Taiwan's highest authority, calling for a solution of Tai Ji Men case. Myself told us, the real courage is to admit mistake and take action to rectify it. We are hoping that Taiwanese government have the courage to face the past mistake and take action to correct it. This is our love to Taiwan and to the people in Taiwan. We hope that Tai Ji Men case is the last mistake, and no more such tragedy would happen again. People in Taiwan will be able to enjoy a fair and a just judicial and taxation system and a true democracy. Thank you.
Thanks for the sharing. As a democratic country, the duty of people and governments in Taiwan is to obey the law, especially those in high position of authority who cannot abuse their rights to do illegal things. The government should not treat democracy and the rule of law just as a slogan and should take action to solve it. Our next speaker, Lisa, please take over.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lisa. The 9/11 terrorist attack 20 years ago not only caused harm to Americans, but also caused the shattering of the vision of world peace. I used to live in Manhattan with my husband from 1996 to the year 2000. On the day of the incident, my 1-year-old daughter and I were at our home in San Jose, California, watching the TV report that the World Trade Center was hit by a plane and collapsed in smoke. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. We were still there a little over a year ago, taking pictures in front of the World Trade Center in memory of the days we lived in Manhattan. I couldn't imagine what it could be if we were still living in Manhattan. My husband worked near the World Trade Center. Maybe he could be in danger too. All I could think of was how panicked and helpless the New Yorkers were. A couple years later, I found out that my shifu and my brothers and sisters from Tai Ji Men still decided to travel to New York City right after the terrorist attack from multiple cities and countries. Despite flights were mostly canceled and there was much chaos everywhere, they insisted to keep their promises, overcoming all the challenges to bring the messages of love and peace to New York, and let the bell of love and peace ring in the US at that crucial moment, hoping to bring peace and strength to those who were suffering. I was deeply touched by their courage and determination, but I was not surprised at all, because that's how my shifu and the Tai Ji Men dizi are. Positive, compassionate, brave, and righteous. However, such a warm and kind group has been persecuted by the Taiwanese government with the fake Tai Ji Men tax case for 26 years. Taiwanese government is seriously violating people's human rights and the freedom of belief and religion. Despite of all the challenges and the unfair treatments, we still continue to pursue the justice. Meanwhile, we never stopped promoting peace and goodwill all over the world. The 9/11 anniversary every year reminds us to remember the lessons given by the history. In particular, those in power should make every decision cautiously to avoid major harm. We firmly believe that only righteousness can lead a country to the right path, and only a government willing to protect human rights and justice can bring peace to the country and happiness to the people. Thank you.
Thanks for your sharing. Dr. Hong led the Tai Ji Men's brothers and sisters in New York to spread love and peace in order to ease people's hearts and spread the good vibes that would inspire their hope, despite the fact that the 9/11 terrorist assault left people feeling afraid and uneasy. However, Taiwanese government is using various kinds of torture to oppress its people, which shows there is a big gap between its officials and the people's awareness of human rights in the country. I would like to hand over to our last speaker, Chris, a software engineer.
Thank you, Lorraine. Hello, everyone. And whenever we talk about the injustices and tragedies in the world, whenever September rolls by, I just want to start with one of the tragedies that happened in my childhood and kind of molded my worldviews. I always get shivers whenever I think about the events that transpired on 9/11. Because back then I was only in second grade. I didn't really know much or understand much. I still remember waking up for school and seeing my parents in utter shock and horror. I was too young to understand the reality of what was going on. And all I remember was my mom telling me that a disaster has happened and didn't really elaborate. I remember that when we called our family friends and in the school to ask if it was safe to go to school that day. When we arrived at school, there was police surrounding the entire school and everything was on the highest alert. After about half a day of the teacher trying to explain to us how America was attacked, we were sent home. I was really confused on why everyone was so scared, since New York was very far away. It was only that afternoon that I understood that everyone was afraid that the terrorists would attack the Golden State Bridge next. And thinking back, I feel very lucky that I was young and naive back then. Since every year, numerous stories of trauma and suffering from people that endured the 9/11 events are countless. Every year, we hear about victims and the heart-wrenching ways that people in the Twin Towers died and how their families are still coping nowadays. When I visited the 9/11 Memorial in New York, I was overwhelmed by the emotions that such a tragedy happened. And honestly, the American people has never truly recovered after that day. But I believe that world has hope and the world must change. And oftentimes, we only hear about the news of criminals and tragedies, but we seem to never hear about the good in our world. I used to have a very pessimistic view of the world and no hope for our future. But my travels with Dr. Hong and Fopao across the globe has changed my views and made me believe that there's hope for the world. I started volunteering for Tai Ji Men and Fopao and traveling with Dr. Hong when I was 18 because I wanted to find meaning in my life beyond academics and work. At 18 years of age, I felt that everything was predetermined for me and I had a career path set out for me. I was to follow the path, finish college, get a high-paying job, get married, have kids, and then die. I craved meaning in my life and searched for something that inspired and brought me true happiness. My first time traveling FOPA was attending the Rio +20 conference in Brazil in 2011. In a meeting with countless heads of states participating and ambassadors everywhere, I was overwhelmed by the prestige of the people around me and felt like I did not belong. Even most conference participants were veteran NGO leaders or someone important. However, I realized that in that environment, everyone was kind or welcoming, no matter if there's a language barrier. When I attended other NGOs events, I realized that there are many people out in the world working for the betterment of the world, whether it's issues such as clean water, poverty, or environmental protection, or just promoting love and peace in general. And similarly, when I invited them to FOPA's side event, they were similarly inspired by our positive energy and the ceremony of ringing the bell of peace and love. When they heard the resonation of the bell, they said that it gave them inspiration and motivation to work harder in their endeavors. This is where I understood that the journey towards love and peace and global harmony is insanely difficult. And it takes many people working together to succeed, whether it's participating in the ceremony of ringing the bell or working in the backgrounds, being the sound engineer for the events. I feel like I'm doing my part, and thus I can sleep better at night, knowing that I'm making a difference in the world. However, now looking back, that experience was already 11 years ago, and I often think back to see if I've learned or improved from back then. In many ways, yes, I'm more mature and have much more experience in dealing with situations, and especially when handling myself overseas. However, I feel that with work and life being a distraction, I've also lost the time to volunteer as much. And that's why I constantly remind myself that Dr. Hong always says that you have to sow the seeds of love and peace, one seed at a time. And that reminds me that every seed counts. And every amount of effort I can put into spreading positive energy and reminding people to follow their conscience and generally be friendly is important. I believe that people are inherently good, but are corrupted, whether by our environment or by personal factors that lead them to make bad decisions. I believe that everyone wants to make the righteous choice, but often are too afraid or too blinded by the moment. With every forum FOPA holds and every video that is shared across numerous social media platforms, I hope to let people know that through my travels, there are many people like me who volunteer for organizations to promoting love and peace and a better world. And there are even people who make careers out of it and work tirelessly at nonprofits. And when we talk about the Tai Ji Men tax case, which I'm sure my colleagues have already spoke much more in detail about, we see a case in where the government was hijacked by a few individuals due to greed and corruption. We see a case where illegal tax bills were constantly levied upon Tai Ji Men, even when the Supreme Court of Taiwan has already deemed Tai Ji Men not a taxable entity and the tax bills as illegal. With disregard for the law and a violation of the due process, I hope all the people of Taiwan can see the blatant disregard of their rights, and that an organization such as Tai Ji Men, who only seeks to inspire people across the globe to be the best versions of themselves, should not be persecuted by a few law-breaking officials. We cannot be suppressed by the 24-hour media cycle and only see what the media wants us to see, but lift the veil and see that there are many people who do good in the world, but there are also many crimes and injustices committed that we do not often hear about in mainstream media. It's just that the world is so interconnected that one bad choice from one individual, such as a school shooter or a tax official, can cause so much tragedy and grief globally. I hope to remind everyone that even though there's a lot of stress, a lot of injustice, and a lot of inequality in the world, making decisions that harm others is never the way forward. This is the only way that we can avoid future wars and catastrophes in the future, such as 9/11 and the Tai Ji Men tax case. I sincerely wish that the world can communicate with open dialogue and make decisions guided by the conscience in their hearts. Thank you.
Thanks to all 5 distinguished speakers, which explains the Tai Ji Men case clearly. Here's another ridiculous story. At the time when Tai Ji Men's brothers and sisters are committed to love and peace and enhance Taiwan's international visibility, Tai Ji Men was invited by the government to participate in Double Ten's National Day. However, on August 27, 2010, Tai Ji Men's branches in Da'an and Guting were closed due to the violation of the law by the government officials. It's ironic to say that when we were preparing to celebrate our country's birthday, the government closed down our Tai Ji Men's branches, which made us extremely angry, sad, and helpless. But the brothers and sisters still had tears in their eyes in order to celebrate the country's birthday. Tai Ji Men academies and self-cultivation centers provide Tai Ji Men shifu and dizi with the opportunity to preach and practice wrongful, which is equivalent to a place or land for religious worship. People have the rights to freedom of thought and religion under Article 18 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which is ICCPR, and General Comment on number 22 of the ICCPR. Tai Ji Men academies and their reserved land for self-cultivation are exempt from seizure and auction under Articles 53 and 113 of the Compulsory Enforcement Act. Not to mention that the Grand Master was confirmed not guilty of fraud, tax evasion, or violation of the tax code by the Supreme Court in 2007. Although abused by the officials, Tai Ji Men still works so hard for the sake of national diplomacy, to inherit our culture, and for the country's Double 10th National Day. With tears in our eyes, we still hope that our country can be better. It is expected that the governments will come up with a concrete action plan so that human rights can really take a big step forward. It remains for Taiwan's government to also take note and understand that solving the Tai Ji Men case is a necessary part of the process. This will also persuade those young women and men in Taiwan passionate for human rights that rhetorical statements of protecting freedom of religion and belief are not mere words. Since 2020, the threat of coronavirus, economic problems, inflation, and wars have made people lose their faith and trust in others. In commemoration of Dr. Hong Dao's Day, we wish for a peaceful world and a better future, just as Dr. Hong did 21 years ago. The way to build the bridge of living together in peace is our conscience. So close to the final, we will play for you a song, a prayer for peace. Let us calm our hearts and remember the kindness from within and jointly wish for peace in our world. Thank you for joining us today.
Let us illuminate our inner light, calm our hearts and pray for the world. May heaven have mercy on its children and allow